Free college football picks, week 8, part 2. I'm Tony T here with our college football pick show here for Tuesday. Well, we're going to feature 9 picks here from week 8 college football, and we're going to do it in 6 parts. We did 8 last night, so that'll give us 17 here for the week 8 card, and we'll get them all done by Friday night, Saturday morning. So we'll have all 53 games by then. Before we get started, just a couple things. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Free college football picks are updated all season long. Free picks every day from all the major sports. We also have NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, and of course soccer, a lot more. It's a good time to subscribe, and also if you would support our channel, like the video, thumbs up, we greatly appreciate it. Then visit Tony'sPicks.com. We're a multi-capper site, showcase our top cappers in our industry. Click the link to the hot cappers, get signed up to one of our long-term passes. You'll find our premium picks at the top of the page here, on the top here with our free picks here with the drop-down menu. Take a look at our hot cappers, guys like Nick. Our morning steam team's been hot. Ramon has been hot. Take a look at his last 7 days. Look at Nick's last 30 days. We have some guys on fire. Hollywood Sam. Click the link to their handicapper pages and get signed up. As you scroll down the page, you'll find our latest premium picks. Our best bets here. The cappers can release one best bet per sport per day. That's why you'll see more than one, because they handicap several sports also, but only one $15 premium pick, which they really want to showcase their service here. Some make their $15 pick a best bet. So keep an eye on that right now over on the site. 3 packs are your best value over on the site. Of course, all profit guaranteed means they must turn a profit, or the amount you purchase is credited back into your account. That is a profit guarantee. All right, guys. Also, our promo code, you can save 20% off all premium pick packages. When you use that promo code TonyT at checkout, you can access our page by clicking the link in the description, the All Cappers tab, then get signed up. Also, love to hear from you guys, so post your picks in the comments below. We are looking for cappers, so apply at Tony's Picks footer section, submit the form. And of course, every pick now available in podcast form. Tony's Picks is a podcast available on all major platforms. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get this one started. Duke versus Miami college football pick Saturday. Duke fell to 4-3 after their 38-35 home defeat at North Carolina. It was a season-high 544 yards of offense for the Blue Devils, who covered that game as a 7-point underdog. Team ran for 299 yards on 41 carries. On defense, Duke did allow, though, 538 yards to that Tar Heels offense, nearly 5 yards a carry on the ground, and 380 passing yards on 38 attempts. Riley Leonard completed 64% of his passes, 8 yards per attempt on the year. Riley, about 66% completion rate, 8 yards per attempt. Now, Miami, they're now 3-3 with that 20-14 road win at Virginia Tech. They got a big lead and then failed to cover, giving up the points late. Hurricanes did move the football for 458 yards. Limited run production. Miami held really a poor offense team in the Hokies to 257 yards. Tyler Van Dyke completed 63% in the win with 351 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 7.6 yards per attempt. On the season, Van Dyke, 64% completion, 7.5 yards per pass attempt. A significant drop over last season. Now, the Hurricanes had struggles in pass defense against North Carolina and Middle Tennessee State. Leonard has been effective moving the team downfield with the pass. The play here will be Duke at plus 8.5. Bowling Green versus Central Michigan college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. Bowling Green 3-4 with their 17-13 home win to Miami, Ohio. Falcons gained only 325 yards in the win, 176 of them rushing on 44 attempts. Good defensive performance by Bowling Green, holding the Red Hawks to 189 yards with 91 yards passing on 17 attempts. Matt McDonald completed 55% with a pick and 5.1 yards per attempt. On the season, McDonald 56% completion, 6.2 yards per attempt. Central Michigan 2-5 after their 28-21 road win at Akron. Chippewas just 337 yards of offense against the Zips with 199 on the ground with 44 carries. CMU did limit the Zips run game but surrendered 267 passing yards on 39 attempts. Daniel Richardson, 62% completions in the win, a touchdown, and 6.6 yards per attempt. Season-wide, Richardson career low here, 56% completions, 6.2 yards per attempt. Now, the Falcons held to 24 points total the past 2 games. You know, Richardson form really a concern for the Chippewas. The play here, Bowling Green and Central Michigan under 50. Toledo versus Buffalo college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. Toledo 5-2 after their 52-31 home win to Kent. Rockets a season-high 490 offensive yards with 227 rushing on 49 carries. On defense, they limited the Golden Flashes to 50% completion rate, but nearly 5 yards carry on the ground. DeQuan Finn, an FBS season high 73% completions, 6 touchdowns and 12 yards per attempt on the year against the MAC. Finn, 66% completions, 11 touchdowns, no picks, 9.6 yards per attempt. He's averaged 6 yards per rush against the MAC and Buffalo 4-3 after their 34-7 road win at UMass. Bulls moved the ball for 480 yards and they rushed it for 203 yards on 38 carries. Defensively, the Bulls held UMass to 220 yards and just over 2 yards per rush attempt. Cole Snyder, 64% completions in the win, 8.9 yards per pass. He had 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Now this season, Snyder against the MAC, 62% completions, 8.2 yards per attempt. Defensively, the Bulls passed 3 games, holding opponents to 319 yards. Playing in Buffalo, always a tough task for these road MAC teams. The play here will be Buffalo +7. Eastern Michigan versus Ball State college football pick Saturday. Eastern Michigan fell to 4-3 after their 39-10 home defeat to Northern Illinois. Eagles a season low 226 yards of offense with 29 rushing on 27 carries. On defense, EMU struggled in run defense, giving up 287 yards on 49 carries. Taylor Powell, season low 48% completions with 8.6 yards per attempt. Eagles had a -2 turnover margin. In his MAC games, Powell 58% completions, 9.2 yards per attempt. Ball State 4-3 after their 25-21 home win to UConn. Cardinals gained at 356 yards in the win, 209 rushing on 44 carries. On defense, the Cardinals held the Huskies to 223 yards with 129 passing on 22 attempts. John Paddock's season lows 49% completions, 3.8 yards per attempt. Paddock trending downward the past 2 games, 51% completions in that period, 4.1 yards per attempt. Both teams with offensive issues entering play. The play here will be on Eastern Michigan and Ball State under 58. Northern Illinois versus Ohio college football pick Saturday. Northern Illinois moved to 2-5 after their 39-10 road win at Eastern Michigan. Huskies moved the ball for 410 yards behind a really strong rushing attack, gaining 287 yards on 49 carries. NIU stuffed the EMU run game, surrendering 29 yards on 27 carries. Rocky Lombardi was back in the lineup after missing 3 games. A completion rate of 73% in the win, 7.7 yards per attempt. He did throw 15 passes. The day Lombardi career high here, 67% completions, 8.6 yards per attempt. Ohio 4-3 with their 33-14 road win at Western Michigan. Bob Katz posted at 383 offensive yards with 119 rushing on 35 carries. They did limit WMU to 84 rushing yards on 31 carries. Curtis Warwick, 65% completion rate in the win, nearly 8 yards per pass attempt. He did have a pick in there. Now, season-wide, Rourke career highs here, 70% completions, nearly 9 yards per attempt. Bobcats defense, though, this year giving up 520 yards a game, 367 passing, 9.1 yards per attempt. Lombardi back producing career-high numbers, and the run game is clicking. The play here will be Northern Illinois at -2.5. UNLV versus Notre Dame college football pick for Saturday. UNLV dropped to 4-3 with their 42-7 home defeat to the Air Force. Rebels gained only 179 yards with 61 rushing on 20 carries. UNLV defense torched against the run, giving up 406 yards on 76 carries. Quarterback Doug Brumfield missed the game. He played only 1 series in the blowout loss to San Jose State. The backup Cameron Friel, 8 of 10 for 108 yards with a touchdown and pick. In the past 2 games, Friel, 72% completions, 8.2 yards per attempt. Notre Dame fell to 3-3 after their 16-14 home defeat to a really down Stanford team. Fine Irish gained only 301 yards, and they rushed for 150 in defeat on 34 carries. Now, Notre Dame did allow 280 passing yards to a pretty good quarterback there. Stanford's pretty good there. 288 yards passing in the loss on 39 attempts. Drew Pine, a season low, 48% completions, 5.6 yards per attempt. On the season, Pine, 67% completion rate, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks, 7.4 yards per attempt. Fine Irish hasn't blown out teams. They've had recent 7-point home win to Cal, which UNLV was competitive against on the road. Play here will be UNLV plus 24.5. West Virginia versus Texas Tech college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. West Virginia improved to 3-3 after their 43-40 home win to Baylor. Mountaineers moved the football for 500 yards, 217 rushing on 37 carries. WVU did give up 590 yards to the Bears with 421 passing on 37 attempts. JT Daniels, 65% completion rate in the win, 7.6 yards per attempt. The Georgia transfer on the year completing 64%, 6.8 yards per attempt. Now, Texas Tech drops at 3-3. It was a 41-31 road defeat at Oklahoma State, I should say. Red Raiders, a season high against an FBS school here. 527 yards of offense. The team ran for just over 3 yards per carry. Defensively, they allowed the Cowboys to pass for 297 yards on 45 pass attempts. Donovan Smith had to miss the game due to injury. He returned to practice early last week, and he does have a shot at playing. Smith on the season, 66% completion rate, 7 yards per attempt. The Red Raiders at home, 3-point overtime wins at Texas and Houston in FBS competition. The Red Raiders pass defense allowing 13.4 yards per completion. West Virginia allowing 15.3 yards per completion. These defenses give up big plays. Play here, West Virginia and Texas Tech over 68.5. Rice versus Louisiana Tech college football pick Saturday. Rice 3-3 after their 17-14 road defeat at FAU. Another light offensive performance for the Rice Owls, producing 261 yards, 64 of it rushing on 23 carries. They did limit FAU to only 311 yards with 126 passing on 26 attempts. TJ McMahon, a season low 35% completion rate, 7 yards per attempt. He threw for a touchdown but 3 picks on the season. McMahon, 59% completion rate, 10 touchdowns, 10 picks, 7.8 yards per attempt. Louisiana Tech, they're 2-4 after a 47-27 road defeat at North Texas. They moved the football for 504 yards, but only 80 of it rushing on 38 carries. Bulldogs struggled in defense. They gave up 671 yards, 475 rushing on 47 attempts, over 10 yards a carry. Parker McNeil, season high 70% completion rate, though, 11.5 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns. It is back-to-back road games for Rice. At home, Bulldogs running for 5.5 yards a carry, and Rice giving up 5 yards per rush. The play here will be Louisiana Tech here at plus 3.5. Marshall versus James Madison college football pick Saturday. Marshall fell to 3-3 with their 23-13 home defeat to Louisiana. The Reading Herd, a poor offensive performance, 276 yards for the game. The team ran for 139 yards on 44 carries. Defensively, they limited the Raging Cajuns to 338 yards with 230 passing on 30 attempts. Texas Tech transfer Henry Colombi, 69% completion rate, 68 yards, 5.2 yards per attempt. This season, Colombi, 73% completion rate, 7.4 yards per attempt. James Madison fell to 5-1 with their 45-38 road defeat at Georgia Southern. Dukes, a season-high 675 yards of offense with 207 rushing on 40 carries. They stuffed the Eagles' ground attack but allowed 578 passing yards on 64 attempts. Todd Centillo, 58% completion in the game. That was a season low. 2 touchdowns and 3 picks. Dukes finished with a -3 turnover margin. On the season, Centillo, 64% completions. He's got 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, and 9.4 yards per attempt. Now, James Madison at home has been dominant. Marshall's road loss at Bowling Green and fell at Troy, scoring 7 points plus gaining only 174 yards. Play here will be on James Madison here at -13. That was our college football pick show here for Tuesday. We got you through, this is week 8, part 2. We got 9 games for you. So a total of 17 for the week. We're going to get to all 53 at the end of the week. So guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and set notifications. Visit Tony's Picks for free picks, as well as our best bets over at Tony'sPicks.com. And don't forget our promo code, and don't forget our podcast. If you miss any picks, you can check out our podcast, Tony's Picks, on all major platforms. Every pick in podcast form there. I'm Tony T, back later with picks.